right, I'm gonna make a bead today that reminds me of plaid fabric. And I want to use some colors that I don't ever use together. These colors I call blurry colors because they just tend to want to blur together. But I think for this, it's going to work out pretty good. So I have this first color. I'm going to make stringers real quick here. Get my flame a little bit more dialed in. These copper greens are really interesting. There's the copper green, and there is the copper green red. And I think that this is the copper green red. So I'm just going to heat up a nice amount of this. That looks like enough. All right. I need enough for this one bead. That's all I need. But I want more than I think I need just in case. So I'm going to let this cool down until it looks about ready. And it looks about ready for me when it starts to kind of set up. I don't want to pull it too quickly. I want it to be kind of like a little softer. Oops. And I dropped that one, but it looks like it survived. I'll pick it up in a minute. All right, and then this color here is a CIM color called Oobleck. And it's very similar to a Fetri pea green. And I thought I'd give it a try. Yeah, I do enjoy the way that the CIM colors melt. Super nice. Okay, that looks plenty. So bring it over here and wait. This looks pretty soft. Okay, grab it. Wait. Okay, that looks good. Now we pull. I always like to wait. If it's moving too quickly, I always wait and let it cool down, just even if it's a split second. Okay, that one looks good. And one more oddball color. Let me use my holder for this one because I just don't have enough of it. Okay, it is, oh, it's that dark purple, the evil purple. It's such a beautiful color. So I'm just going to heat this up using the rod extension. It's kind of awkward because I can't really hold it down very far. And I like to be able to get a high angle when I'm working on my glass. But that's okay. I can just let it flip-flop back on itself. Maybe if I hold it a little differently. Okay, that is just fine. And I'm just going to start pulling this out. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, let me grab that other stringer. And now we have all the colors ready for this demonstration. Now, I know it's not soundproof in the studio, so there's a lot of sounds that go on around me while I'm working. Tools clanking around, stuff like that. Patrick comes home and I can hear him upstairs, footprints all over the place. So squeaky floors. So that's part of the reason why I usually do voiceovers, because just so much happens, so much is happening around me. All right, let's get into this bead. This will be the third time I've tried to make this. The second time I ran out of stringer, so I had to make more. Okay, so I am just going to start by heating up my mandrel. I got a nice big amount of this dark ivory. Doesn't matter, you can use the light or dark. Maybe this is the light, I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure it's dark ivory, and I'm just going to very slowly, not so great, but I just am drawing it around my mandrel in one spot so it creates a nice channel. At least on one side. That is preferable. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some more and just continue right next to that bead, overlapping it a little bit and wiggling my glass, keeping my mandrel nice and hot. And I'm just going to slowly draw this glass out across the mandrel, taking my time. And I want this one to be on the long side. So I'm going to continue to work my way out. If you get worried about that beginning wrap getting too cool, you can very quickly come over here and heat that up. Just a little bit even, it will help. And then you can just continue adding your glass to this side. Or you can add it in little wraps if you want. I think that this is good. Let me add a big amount here on the end. We'll roll that out here in a minute. Either way, when I'm done over here, I immediately heat the cool side. Then I'll go back over here. I'm going to make my torch a little bit bigger. Ooh, okay, good. And I really need this bulky area to be like this thinner area. So I'm going to work this bigger side first. And very gently on an angle, I roll on the left side. I'm really rolling on this cool bead part right here, and then tapering into the other side. I'll do that one more time. Start on the cool side and roll into the hot side. And if the edge doesn't come out perfectly, that's okay. I'm just going to pull it in a little tiny bit because it did go over and make a little pucker, so that gave me a little bit more to work with. All right, that side looks pretty good. So now I'm going to work the heat from the center out to the other side. And now I just want to try to match the other side, working at first on the cool side, lifting into the hot side. It's a little off, and that's okay because I can taper this one edge down a little bit more to match. It always takes me time to get this very first footprint down, but I think that looks pretty good. So at this point, I need to add a whole nother wrap on here to get the size that I need for this. Sometimes the ivory likes a little softer flame. I got this dark ivory, and it just continuously wants to crack on me no matter what I do. So now I'm going to add a wrap, and then I'm just going to start to kind of wrap the whole bead. I may have to get another rod of color here, we'll see. I'm just doing the old wiggle and gentle twist. I'm only turning the mandrel as fast as the glass is laying down. Getting close. I think I'll make it. It's hard to say. I think I'll make it around. And gently pull away. All right. Okay, so now I have the second layer on here, and I'm going to immediately heat what I first laid down. And then, like before, I just start working my sides. One side and the other side. I rarely focus right in the center, especially on a long bead like this. And I'm really only looking to heat up the glass that I laid down. The whole thing doesn't have to be screaming hot. I'm just looking to roll the surface of the glass out, just that layer. And then I'll work my edges in. So I'll heat the side of the mandrel, and then I'll come into the front when I'm ready. When the mandrel's nice and hot, I'll come to the front side, and then I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. Let me heat this other side up for a second while it's cooling, and then I'll give it a gentle roll. And that looks good. That's kind of what I'm looking for, a nice rounded end. So we'll do the other side here. I'll face everything towards the mandrel, and then once it's all real nice and soft, I'll hit the front, and then I'll wait for a second, and then come out and give it a gentle roll. That looks not too bad. Maybe this side is a little on the big side, so I'll taper this a little bit more, so you see how long it takes me to get to the size I'm looking for, or the shape that I'm looking for. All right, well, that is good enough to go. Even though one side is rounded and the other side isn't, that's okay, because we're still going to work these edges later on. So let's start out with some of this stringer. Here's the violet, this dark purple. I'm going to heat where I want to place it, and then I'll heat just the edge of the stringer, and then just apply it to my bead, and then hold the stringer down as low as I can, and then just walk the flame across it. These don't have to be perfect. You can flatten them too if you want to. I'm going to try to do 3 of these, so I kind of think I'll make a cheat sheet quick here as to where I want it to be. So kind of here and here. Okay. And then I'll heat that area up. Heat that side up. I'm sorry if sometimes I'm not talking. I get in the zone. Well, that's close enough. It's not exact, but it will work. All right, now let's add another one. We'll do this Oobleck green. I'm just keeping everything warm. And I'm going to add this color kind of close to the pink. And you know, it does not have to be perfectly straight. Give it a little slight wiggle. This is a big open area here. Gosh. Okay. We'll see what we can do there. Slight wiggle on these. I could probably do a whole nother one right there. I'll pull some of these down. Closer to the mandrel. And I'll do that on the other side before things start to pop off. So I just heat and pull down each one of those little dots. Cool. Okay, let's get into this third color. We'll get into this big open area here. I always like to heat where the cane is going to go. That is really helpful. Place my stringer there and just gently walk that stringer over. Yeah, I'm going to have to add another bit of the pink there, I believe, just to make things look a little bit more even. Okay. Now, at this point, once we got all of our color on there, I'm just going to start to heat everything up, starting from my edges. And I will go ahead and just pull all those edges in together. Or just, what am I saying? I'm marvering them down. Just going to marver them in a little bit. And then we can just start to heat everything up and slowly work our way down and up with the heat. Things start getting really crazy when we really start to pour the heat on. That's when things start to kind of blur out. So I'm really working it a little at a time, in just little areas. I will heat in around and then just focus on rounding that one area out. All right. Let's see, let's just fix this edge here with a knife. I can pull it in a little bit. There we go. And then, yeah, this other side is completely opposite. And it's really because I'm always holding the rod at a specific, like just a slight angle all the time in my left hand. And that's usually why I end up with a nice flat on one side and a nice rounded edge on the other side. So I have to kind of take my time and kind of try to match them both a little bit. Here we go. Okay. Now what we want to do is add some more rings. Oops. And what am I going to start with? I'll start with the violet again. Okay, let's make this flame a little smaller. All right, so I'm going to heat the end, or I'm going to stick it right here to the end. So I'm going to heat and add it to itself, another purple. And just slowly bring it around. It does not have to be perfectly round. It's okay. I tell myself that all the time. Okay, so I'm going to heat and touch. Okay. Kind of like a little wavy motion here. Make it more interesting. So I just attach the color to wherever it is on the piece. And then as I'm grabbing for the next color, I'm just keeping everything warm. Oops. Okay. I always take time to heat everything up before I go and add another one. This is also really good for stringer drawing practice. But what I'm really interested in is how all these colors are going to affect each other. And I think I will end with the pink. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so now that everything is on, I'm going to go back and heat that very first stringer and just kind of heat everything up back and forth. Get a bigger flame here. And this is almost it. All I want to do at this point now is heat everything in, and then I'm going to use a marble, or I'm sorry, a bead press to flatten this into a specific shape. I want it to be kind of a flat but domey, like a little dome. I have my wide crunch from Catwalk Tools. Here it is. And we'll use this bead press. So I'm just working in the heat on the edges. Now things are looking pretty good. I'm just going to roll it out very gently in the center and then on my sides. All right, there we go. So now at this point, what I want to do is start to get these to blur out. And we're going to do that with a lot of heat. And not only will these colors blur out, but you know, they make that third dark brown kind of color that might even spiderweb out into some of that ivory. And I see it happening right there. It's just getting the stringer's getting wider and wider as it is being affected by the other colors. So I'm going to walk up and down as I heat. And I'm just looking for the whole bead to get hot enough so I can press it. Keeping my turning nice and even. All right, that's good. Okay, let's see what happens here. There it is so far. Ooh, I love the way that looks. Cool. Okay, so with this press, sometimes I crunch it too much. So I'm going to pull my sides in and fire polish at the same time. So if you don't have the wide crunch press, you can easily flatten this with just you don't have to. It doesn't have to be this shape, but you can make it just a flat bead. It could be a flat round. You could have a whole bunch of these and they could look really great on a necklace or something. All right, I'm going to crunch this one more time on the ends. I like that. Okay. Now here at the end, all I need to do is give it a really nice fire polish all the way from the bottom. I like to start at the bottom and then work my way to the top. I'll turn it over. Sometimes I'll blow on that back side. Wow, look at that. And then we'll start at the bottom again on the other side. Fire polish. And this will also heat it up and get some of those colors to further blur out. Maybe I'll pull these tops down just a little tiny bit. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that is it. I love the way this looks, you guys. Let me know what you think. Look at how the green just got sucked in to the back of that color. And then the other colors just blurred out. Wow, okay. I like this. All right, that is our fabric bead. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time in the dungeon.